Good morning, everybody. We are live. We've got Dr. Kilt's back. I'd love to hear about your aviation training a little bit if you want to talk about that. We've got Reverend Cathy Dickson, Dr. Nelson, and me. I wanted to just let you know that I just posted a video that you guys should all watch afterwards. It's Dr. Lisa Wiedemann's Boston meetup speech about eye health and carnivore. So I wanted to just give a shout out to that to make sure everyone goes and checks that out after the live stream.
Cool.
And
where do they find that?
On YouTube. And I pinned it in the chat, so it's right there.
Wait,
also
on YouTube. Does it? You go to Dr. Kilt's?
Yeah, you go to drkiltz.com. Dr. Kiltz's YouTube channel is the video, and you can check all the videos out. I believe we now have everything from the Boston meetup posted on your YouTube channel now.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Beautiful day in God's paradise. And
yes.
What are we talking about today?
Faith, fasting, carnivore, and aviation training.
Where did I come from? With the understanding that we are constantly evolving out of the presence of God within us. This means that every experience we have, everything we do, is for the purpose of allowing more of this great self to express. This gives us right perspective. This is just some readings from The Way of the Christ by Don Curtis, one of my favorite books. My other favorite book is The Christ-Based Teachings, also by Don Curtis. Out of print, but I'm working on getting them reprinted. We'll see when that happens. It's soon, I'm hoping. Cathy Dickson, how are you this beautiful morning?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's good to be here.
It is good to be here. Absolutely. It's a beautiful day in God's paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Alia, thank you. Cathy, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here today.
Sure can. Okay, to start out with, I am a mother of 8 children, 13 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. And I started this journey back January 1st, 2006 with a work challenge. I was managing 2 group homes and giving a challenge to my staff, a health challenge. And most of us wanted to lose weight, which I've done a million times. First thing in the morning here, which I've done a million times, but I'd never done it this way. So I decided to try Atkins induction. That's where I started. And I did lose well over 100 pounds. And then continued on that road with bumps up and down all the way. Then eventually, I guess it was when Jimmy Moore was on the scene. And when he was starting to regain weight, and I sent him a message, I said, do you think that maybe some people should just eat meat? They should keep their carbs down that low that there isn't any carbs? I didn't get a response, but then I found other influencers online. Obviously, I'd been following Dr. Barry for a little while. My first influencer was Dr. Eric Westman, because he'd worked with Dr. Atkins. Well, he'd gone to see him. And he did work with him in one of the books. And so anyway, I really didn't care about the vegetables anyway. Oftentimes I'd have them sitting in the fridge and they would just go bad by the end of the week, and I'd wind up throwing them out. So I thought, why am I wasting my money on this stuff? I don't eat it, and all these other people seem to be doing well with just eating meat, so I guess that's just what I'll do. And I started doing that January 1st of 2001, so 4.5 years ago. So I haven't lost more weight. In fact, I did gain a little bit of weight on carnivore. I haven't quite figured, well, no, I do know why, because I eat too much, especially when it gets to dairy. But this is what did happen on carnivore, which is so important. It's healing. Now, I had lost weight on doing Atkins induction. But with healing, I have a list. I had GERD, so the acid reflux, that's gone. And I could never stay awake a full day. I needed a nap in the afternoon. Now, I know, Dr. Kiltz, you endorse napping. And if I'm tired, maybe I will nod off here and there. But I needed a nap every day. And I thought, how can I work if I have to sleep all day, or the afternoon? So I don't really need to anymore, although I do go to sleep very, very early at night. I move easily, of course, have more energy. I don't have the body odor that I used to have. And my gums used to bleed a lot. Every time I brushed them, I get like a mouthful of blood. And it just was awful. And they don't do that at all. Of course, I had to buy new clothes. So now you could consider that a good thing or a bad thing. It cost you a lot of money, but nonetheless, I went from a size 26 to a 14. And at my thinnest, I was a 12. I have been diagnosed with hemicrania continua. Basically, it means a headache on one side of my head all the time. For what reason? I don't know. All I know is that it's greatly reduced. And I've noticed, some things that maybe will cause it to be worse, like lack of sleep. My blood pressure, I was on 2 meds, and now it's normal. That's a warning. Anybody that takes blood pressure medication, or if you take anything for diabetes or anything that might be affected by metabolism, make sure that you get followed up with your doctor, because I didn't know anything about that. And so I wound up being unconscious because I didn't need this blood pressure med, and I was taking it. So the blood pressure went way too low, smashed to the ground, ambulance gets called, the whole kit and caboodle. And the only problem was I'm taking medication that I don't need. My blood sugar, it was just pre-diabetic, and it's normalized. And my last A1C was 4.8, so I don't worry about that. And I've never seen it over 100 in my morning glucose. My EGFR was 56, and that went to 94. My eyesight, Dr. Wiedemann, you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Well, and I talked to her about this. My
Mhm.
eyesight was minus 2.75. It's now minus 0.5 in the one eye
Amazing.
and 1 in the other eye.
Amazing.
And I used to wear bifocals, and I don't need those either, because you would think
Wow.
if it's one or the other. Neither one. I had a heart murmur that disappeared. Chronic constipation. For me, this is probably the biggest issue, was the chronic constipation. It was bad. I could go weeks and weeks. It just didn't go. And when I did, it was just absolutely horrible situation that I don't want to get into too many details on, but you can imagine. Anyway, totally cleared. Just no problems. I was also diagnosed at one point with vasculitis, but then they changed that to capillary fragility. And so that I don't know. And I had a Morton's neuroma on my foot, which was extremely painful. It's like this horrible electricity shooting up your leg every time you walk, and it is gone. So that is my healing journey on carnivore.
Mhm.
And it just seems to be continuing. It didn't happen all in one day, because the eyesight thing, I just went a week ago or 2 weeks ago to the eye doctor 2 weeks ago. So that's been exciting. And since that time, I've been just on many, many groups, support groups. I'm taking Kiltz's coaching class right now with Dr. Nelson. Yeah, I know, that's exciting. And I have all his books. I have to point out one book, and it's not even yours, Dr. Kiltz, but it's one that you recommended. And it is just fabulous. And it's something that pretty much anybody can afford, I think. And I just love it. As a Man Thinketh. Because I work as a coach. I wrote a book back in 2015, and the book is called The Kingdom Way. And I wrote it from a faith-based perspective. It is not carnivore because I wasn't doing carnivore at that time, but it does look at low carb in one of the chapters. It looks at various eating plans. I don't tell anybody what they should eat. It's up to them what they want to eat. I only tell them what I do, and they can decide for themselves what's best for them. So would I look at this book, As a Man Thinketh? It's not scripture, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you read deeper, this is
It
what
is.
the Bible's talking about. It is.
Yep.
It's truth. And truth comes from God. And you know where the kingdom of God is very unique in that it's not a kingdom like a land out there or a cloud in the sky or a thing over there. The kingdom of God is within us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
that's where his spirit lives. And so when you can connect to his spirit, you can know what your next steps are. And I have found in the carnivore community so many people that have a very strong faith. They pray, they meditate on the word, they think about it, and they look deep within. But they were asking God and saying, God, I need help. What do I do? Lead me. And the next thing you know, they are led to carnivore for their healing. Especially when I think of who is it, Bill up in Alaska. I'm like, amazing. But the stories out here, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that have found healing through carnivore. And I think it would be foolish not to try it for 90 days. Come on, it's 90 days of your life. Give it a try. You won't know unless you try it, and it's not going to hurt you. But that's just what I think. So I have been coaching for quite a while since I wrote my book, and that was in 2015. And I started out just by teaching at churches and doing like 12-week sort of workshops from this book. And this is sort of the workbook. I go through them myself online. And I do a little bit with InsulinIQ as a coach. And I work for Dr. Joan Ifland, doing some admin work with her, and also as a food addiction recovery advocate. So food addiction, I know this is a topic that not everybody thinks exists. I think it does exist, and it's the same as any other addiction. I work in addictions, actually, at a college. I teach child and youth care with addictions at the college. So that's dealing primarily with drugs. But that's what sugar is. That's where drugs come from. They come from plants, and they are addictive. So with that, with the addictions, there's two components, right? The first component is getting off the substance, and you really can't do anything till you get off the substance, and we call that withdrawal. That withdrawal, depending on what substance, is probably going to last maybe 4 days, 8 days, maybe a couple weeks, and that's it. After that, it's out of your system. The big part, and that's a small part actually, the big part is the mindset. It's what you think about that addiction. You think you have to have it. You think you need it. You don't know how to cope with your emotions. So it's learning, what does this mean when you're feeling something? And do you have to act on every emotion? Or when a thought comes to you, can you think, okay, do I want this thought? Can you let it go? Which actually is the verse that I use as my core verse for the Kingdom Way, is Hebrews 12, verse 1. And it says to let go of the weight that so easily besets you. When you look at those weights that so easily beset you, those weights that you carry, it's not just your physical weight, It's the emotional weight. It's the thoughts. It's the traumas from the past. It's all of those things that have been holding you back from you being a whole person. You know, I like to use the hand. I know that's kind of a funny thing to use, but I use it for everything when I'm speaking because it goes with me. I don't have to carry, you know, PowerPoints and other things. But I look at the hand, and this is like the hand of recovery. So the most important part is faith. That's your spiritual, your spirit. We all have a spirit, whether you know it or not, you have one. So that's faith. And it connects to all these other parts. That's how you can be full and you can fully function. This, the Peter Pointer here, that's the physical. You want your body to come into health, to take you where you want to go. So you need to have some movement in your life. You need the sunlight in your life, the sound, the vibrations, grounding, having a good food plan. That's all the physical part. But then there's the mental part. See, that one sticks out the most, doesn't it? That's the one at the top. That's your head. What are you thinking upon? Because what you think upon is what you're going to become. If you think you can't, you can't. But if you think you can, you can. So it's all about mindset in there. It's just a huge thing. And for that, you know, it's the doing some brain exercises, reading, listening to others, meditating. You know, this is so important, the mental part. It's where you keep your thoughts. The next part is the ring finger, the emotional finger. Our emotions, you know, we do all have emotions, and oftentimes we're going to act out of our emotions. But before our emotions come our thoughts, right? Our thoughts determine our emotions are actions, right? Our actions are habits, our habits are character, our character are our destiny. So, but it starts with the thoughts, goes to emotions. So your emotional self, looking at that in recovery. And with that, there's all sorts of healing that you may need with your relationships, or sometimes you can just forgive and let go of a relationship. Sometimes that's necessary, but don't harbor unforgiveness because it'll destroy you. Dealing with your past traumas, just that kind of stuff. Make emotions to be your friends. You know, if they're not your enemy, they're your friend. They're telling you something. And the last one, to keep balance to the whole thing, is the science. There's science behind all of this. The brain neurochemistry, the gut-brain axis, the vagus nerve, all of these things, and then put it all together and immerse it in community, because we need each other. And so I'm so grateful for the carnivore community.
Mhm.
And I've found many of them. We're all connected. I'd love to go to all the meetups, but I just don't have the money to do all that. So when I can, though, I'll be there. And it's just an exciting life. What can I say? Yeah. Any questions? Anything you want to add?
Tell us about your book. Where can we find it?
Well, probably knowing Alia, because she is so cool, she
Aw.
probably will have it in the notes, I would imagine.
What's the name of the book again?
Oh, well, let me find it in this stack of books here. The Kingdom Way. It's kind of like a workbook. So on Thursdays, I do have a free class that I hold at 7:00 on Thursdays, Eastern time. And we just kind of go through it. It's on YouTube, and we just kind of go through this book, which is not online. This is on Amazon, but this is more a leader's guide. And then we kind of walk through this.
Which one's on Amazon?
This one.
It's called The Kingdom Way. We can buy it on Amazon.
Yep.
I'll put that in the chat.
Yep. Just no comments on the grammatical errors. Honestly, any book I've read, I've found errors afterwards, but in your own, it's like, oh my goodness, what happened here? I haven't looked that closely at yours yet, Dr. Kiltz, but there's probably an error in there somewhere.
The Kingdom
well,
Way, a
no-
12-week spiritual weight loss and life energizing program.
Yes.
That's the subtitle, right?
That is the subtitle. Let me just tell you what the weeks are about and the topics that I cover on each week. And it isn't by the week anymore. It takes us at least a year to go through the book. That's what it's been doing over the past couple of years. And the next time, I don't know if we're going to go through it again. Maybe, maybe not. We haven't decided. So confronting excuses is first, because we all come up with all these excuses. Well, I can't because I've, had gastric bypass. I can't do that. I can't because I come from an Italian family, which I don't. I come from a Dutch family. So why I said Italian, I don't know. My daughter's Italian. Well, Italian family, or anything like that. But boy, we can come up with excuses all the time. I don't want to hurt their feelings, so I think I'll just eat that. It's my mother, it's my grandmother, but all these excuses. So the first chapter deals with that. And we look at, then we have homework every week because, of course, I'm a teacher, so homework is important. It's my excuses versus what God says. And we do a chart and a little exercise to work through that. In the second week, we look at goal setting. Like, where do you want to go? If you don't have a vision as to where you want to go, you're just floundering. I love vision boards. I've done vision boards. I've seen them come to pass. They are powerful, but it's not just about a vision board. Whatever your vision is, keep it in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
The Word of God says, without a vision, my people perish. So if you don't have a vision as to where you want to go, you're just going to die off, basically. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And I've heard some people with some great visions. And sometimes we have a vision that dies, and that's okay. Get another vision. So in that week, we do create a vision board in week 2. In week 3, portion distortion. Okay. Now there's an amount that's right for us, but then we've got this hedonic nature in us. We just want more and more and more. Our flesh wants it. But we don't need it. We don't need that much. So honest weights and balances with ourselves. The person I think that deceives us the most is ourselves, or at least that's from mine. And it's like this false balance that we may have. And the homework there is to journal for 7 days. So journaling, and that's recording all eating occasions honestly. And then ask yourself if you stayed within sort of those God-given boundaries. So what's a God-given boundary? A God-given boundary is your satiety signals, right? So the leptin and the ghrelin, which is the hunger signal. That's where we're supposed to eat in. We're not supposed to be eating just because. And that's where carnivore helps a lot, because you're not drawn away with all the other stuff that's out there that isn't even food anyway. The next chapter is on gardening. Gardening, why are you talking about gardening? I thought this had something to do with eating. Well, it does, but it's about pulling out the roots of overindulgence. Why do you overeat? Why do you want to have that stuff that isn't food? So it's breaking off things like generational curses or habits or addictions or fears. Sometimes the reason we stay in our addiction is because of a fear. We're afraid what will happen if we're going to be fit and healthy and just fabulous. What's going to happen to us? We may have had experiences in the past that cause us to not really want to be there. And in the Bible, in 1 John 1:9, it says, if we confess our sins, he's faithful and just to forgive us our sins. And I think, well, what is the sin in there anyway? It's not really what we eat. It's really more fear, because fear is the opposite of faith. Who wants to walk in fear? We want to walk in faith. Yeah, there's lots of other verses, but I won't get into them all. Our homework there is breaking free of generational curses. So we actually look at a whole lot of them, habits and addictions and fears. It's a checklist, a guide for personal prayer, for you to kind of think upon, and that kind of thing, and then to realign with what the truth is. So what it's all about really is taking the lies that you've believed and then replacing it with truth. What is the truth on that? Because we've believed so many things that aren't true. The next is chapter 5. This is the one we talk about diet plans, basically, food plans. So the best food, the physical, nutritional, and diet plans we discuss, the pros and cons of each one. We look at, Canada's food guide, the SAD diet, basically.
Mhm.
American food plates, all the same thing. But then we also look at the Bible, the Rainbow or Genesis diet. Now, there's a lot of people that think, well, I should eat like they did in the Garden of Eden, just eat plants. Well, they didn't read the Bible right, because that was at the beginning, that's how it was in the Garden of Eden. But if you look at chapter 3 is of Genesis in the Bible. That's where Adam and Eve sinned. And at that time, everything was cursed. All people were cursed and all of the land was cursed. And I believe that's where the toxins came into plants. So prior to that, I don't think there was toxins. But once at that point, I believe toxins came into plants and everything else. There's toxins. They exist. But anyway, and then we look at other ones. Yes, Dr. Kiltz, do you have a question?
Let's see here. Renee does, and I think you may have just touched on it. What do you tell people who question carnivore because God made fruits and vegetables too?
He did, but I believe that they were cursed in chapter 3. Now in chapter 9, they were told to eat meat of Genesis, if you want to go a little bit further on. And then, of course, some people are going to bring up the Daniel diet. And that was a big movement at one point, the Daniel diet. And sure enough, people would lose weight. But there's a difference between losing weight and getting healthy.
Yes.
Right. That's the difference between eating vegetarian or eating carnivore.
What other animal wants to be skinny?
None.
None.
They want to be healthy. So if there's a time of famine, they're ready.
You better be fat. If you're not fat in a famine, you're dead.
Well, you need to have a reasonable amount of fat. You don't want to be obese, right? You need a reasonable amount on your body for your hormones to work properly, for your brain to work properly. You need a certain amount on your body, for sure.
Well, I guess we don't know what the right amount is. Depends on the famine. Depends on the famine.
Good point.
And it depends on the nesting or the hibernation or the migration. If you look at many animals, they must hibernate for a year. And so maybe we don't truly understand our evolution. And maybe that's part of our problem. And again, we're overeating, but don't we live in a very stressed environment? I wonder.
Okay. Has there not always been stress? I mean, if you didn't know if you were getting your own food, that's stressful. If you're being chased by the lion, that's kind of stressful too, I'd imagine. I've never been chased by a lion, although we did have one loose from the zoo near here at one point. So what is, we've always had stress. I think stress is an excuse.
Is it, are we, someone else is hunting and gathering for us today, where at one time we had to do it ourselves?
Oh, for sure.
Maybe there's something about being self-sufficient. Can you comment about that?
Well, I think that we're required to co-labor with God. It's one of the chapters in my book. So it's not that we're totally self-sufficient, but we're working with him to get what we need.
Always.
And going back to the Daniel diet, Now, when Daniel did his 21 day that people talk about, or 10 day, it was just for a period of time. And maybe it was just to prove that God could be God and you could actually live through this. But it was only for a period of time. It wasn't a permanent thing. Some people have taken it as if this is a permanent thing. It was only for 10 days, and it was not to indulge in the king's food. Well, what is the king's food? The king's food isn't just the meat. The king's food also included all the desserts. And yes, they did make desserts, a whole lot of them, with all the fruits and the honeys and everything like that. So he didn't indulge in that for that 21 days. That's what the Daniel
and
diet
alcohol.
was. Or alcohol, right. They didn't have the wine that 21 days. So, and alcohol, that is just poison, total toxin. You know, so it's the first thing that would be metabolized. It's not a good thing to have for you at all, despite, you know, what is it? The resveratrol or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. The thing that's supposed to be in wine. No, that's a drug. What is it? There's something in wine that they say that's supposed to be good for
The
you.
antioxidants, resveratrol.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, that's the one. But antioxidants, really your body makes antioxidants. Like glutathione is like the master antioxidant. It's made by your body. So if you give your body the optimal condition, you don't have any problem with antioxidants. Don't even worry about them. You're just fine. So moving on, if we get past the eating plans, and there's homework there. And that's just looking for any kind of story or whatever the Spirit's speaking to you about your eating plan, about what you should be doing. The next is on Pharaoh's control versus freedom. I love this chapter because I wrote this when I was on the plane flying back from Kenya one time. And it's on the 10 plagues of Egypt. So that it's the battle that happens in our mind. It's 10 plagues that happen. There are 10 thought patterns that keep us in bondage, ending with the death of the firstborn. Okay, so it's not about your kids. It's not about you if you're the firstborn, which I am. It's about our Adamic nature. So it's about that sin nature. It's the hedonic nature. I just want it. I just want to have the candy because the candy's, it tastes so good, you know, that kind of thing, or whatever it is. It's the sin or the flesh nature. It's the thing that we need to die to. So you don't need to have sugar. You can just die to it. In fact, your taste buds are going to adjust in probably maybe 3 days, maybe 10 days. Once you get off it, like I said, once you withdraw from that substance, that desire for it will go away. And then we look at the various plagues. So the plagues of blood and frogs and gnats and flies against livestock or your livelihood, against boils, hail, locust, darkness, and the firstborn. So it's all of these are battles that we all go through. They're common to man, and they're in our mind, basically, which affects our life. The next chapter is our vision, our purpose, and our destiny. That's about our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our habits. And we look at maybe things that people have spoken to you over the years. They say to you, oh, you would make a really good coach, or you would make a really good teacher. They used to say that to me. They say, you'd make a good teacher. And I think, teacher? I can't even talk. I'm so shy. I could sit back and I could say nothing, like for hours, days. But they'd say you'd make a good teacher. So I thought that can't happen. And then I went from there to teaching and preaching and who knows what. Anyway, so it's on identifying your purpose and your destiny, discovering your path to your fulfillment, because obviously we all have different paths. I'm not a doctor. I mean, I did go into a Bachelor of Science in Nursing at one point, but I never completed it. But I'm not a doctor, you know. And so where there's no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint, right? Where there's no vision, basically you perish. You just do whatever. From Proverbs 29:18. And the homework there, we do an emotional log. Our emotions are really flighty. That's all I can say about that. We'll get more into that if you want some other time. Law and Order, chapter 8. That's about the diet rules. We don't live under the law anymore, people. We live in freedom. Order. There's order, but not the law. So the law is the diet rules. Okay, you need to have 1 ounce of this and 1 tablespoon of this and 4 tablespoons of that. It's not, and if you don't do that, you broke the law. Now you're bad because you broke your diet. That's ridiculous. So it's more about having that freedom just to eat so that you can live your life and taking back self-control. So basically, the word says in Romans 8:2, Christ Jesus has set you free from the law of sin and death. And the homework there, we actually go through writing out a spiritual mission statement. I've had a lot of feedback from people that have been in the groups on that, and they find that one to be really powerful in their lives, having their own personal mission statement. You know, I'd like to ask people even in the chat, do you have a personal mission statement? Do you know why you're here on this earth at this time? What's your purpose? And if you don't, you might want to discover what it is, because there is one for all of us. We're almost there. Chapter 9, love. Oftentimes I'm asked, what is God? I don't see God. What's God? Well, I'll tell you what God is, because he tells us in the Bible what he is. He is the perfect essence of love. And we don't understand that sometimes in our culture, because our culture has twisted love. But love it covers a multitude of sins. And here in this chapter, we look at ego versus altruism. Learning to love yourself, treating yourself with God's love, because he cares. He cares for you. He's got a plan for you, and he will always be there. Life won't always be easy. It won't be, because we grow through the hard times. We need the hard times. If you think about that just for a moment, and I talk to people about this, I have a video somewhere on my channel on that too, about stress, the beauty of stress, it's called. And if you think about it, a seed coming through the ground, oh, how hard that is for that seed to do that. Or if you want to go on Dr. Kiltz's line, a sperm getting into the egg, that's a hard job. He's got a lot of competition there happening, you know, but it's a hard job. That baby being born, do you not think that's stressful for that baby and for that mother? Let me tell you, I've had 9, but I have 8, and it's stressful. There's lots of stresses in life, and that's okay. That's how we grow, is through the stressful times. Don't coddle your kids. You've got to let them kind of do some stuff on their own. If they get hurt, they get hurt, you know, like within reason. Make sure they have a helmet on when they ride their bike. That's my next note, because I don't want to see any more head injuries. Anyway, let's go on from there. So we're on love. This is a cute exercise, but oh my goodness, it's a little scary for you. You look in the mirror, straight into your own eyes, and you say, I love you, in your own eyes. And just see what comes up within you, because that's going to be God's love speaking to you. And it's really powerful. Add to that affirmations. I am beautiful. I am fit. I am fun. I am fabulous. I am faithful, or whatever kind of affirmations you want to use. I am well able. The next chapter, chapter 10. Roadblocks, stumbling, and pride. Okay, this is real life, guys. Stuff happens, and sometimes we get thrown off our course a little bit, a little bump in the road here, we stumble or we fall. So expect that there will be opposition. It could come from your dearest grandma or whoever. There could be opposition. There will be. Maybe your coworkers. So stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, which we call the devil, evil, somebody. It's not that your grandma's the devil. No. But it's just, you're going to somebody's going to try to trip you up. Or it could be the signs driving down the road advertising this, that, or the other, the advertisements on TV. Something will come around. He's always there, kind of prowling around, trying to devour you. But there is no temptation that has overtaken you, but such as is common to man. In fact, this happens to everyone. But if you've got the mindset right, you can overcome that temptation, whatever it is. I mean, look at Dr. Nelson. He just overcame 22 days of temptation. He fasted. That is incredible. And Dr. Kiltz, I think, was 15. I'm not sure. And don't compete, you guys. Anyway, but God will make a way of escape. And I've got some funny stories on that too. There is a way of escape. So when you're tempted, there is a way to get out of that. Sometimes it means just don't go look at the table. Keep your focus on the people. Take a breath outside. Go to the bathroom for a moment. Just kind of think about it. Get your head right. Number 11, co-creators of our destiny. Too many times I've had people, come up for prayer. Please pray for me. Please pray for me for this, that, or the other. And obviously I will. But what they're looking for sometimes is something that they can do themselves. But they think they can't. Right? So there is a spirit soul, which is your mind, your will, and your emotions. There's this connection. And your body. Spirit, soul, body connection. And God gives us the desires of our heart. The good ones that are there. The other ones are just coming from ourselves. So when we can kind of get that entrainment where we get everything aligned with what that goal is, what the vision is that we had from before, then it will happen. What holds us back oftentimes is fear. Like Job said, what I fear most overtakes me. What I dread happens to me. So getting out of fear into faith. Get yourself moved over there. And then the homework there is another journaling one key verse. Something to really focus on. And that kind of thing. And then the last week, it's just a celebration week. We look at all the things that have been done over the past 12 weeks, or it's really about 12 months when we go online through that. Yeah.
Dr. Kiltz, we've got a couple questions.
Sure.
I may have to leave a little early. I have to go to jury duty.
Okay, no worries. We'll finish up.
Yep.
Mick, what do you typically eat? I think, Cathy, that's for you.
Yeah. What do I typically eat?
Yes.
Well, Monday to Friday, I usually bring eggs, like 3 eggs to school to eat in the morning, like first meal, maybe about 11 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And then I usually come home and I eat my dinner about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock sometimes. And I have a pound of beef and I have 4 eggs, because this is how I make my ice cream in my creamy. It is 4 eggs and water. And then after the first spin, if you know anything about creamies, there's a big hole in the center. So I fill the hole with heavy cream, which is about, I don't know, maybe 2 ounces. I'm not sure. And then I give it its second spin. And I use a little bit of stevia in it just because it tastes good. And I'm not quite over that yet. And that's the end of my day.
There you go. This next question, Dr. Kiltz, is for you. Amanda, if TTC, can I prolong fast?
Steve.
Yeah, can I prolong fast during what's WW without messing up hormones? This is all pregnancy talk.
Fasting doesn't mess up hormones at all. Plants do. Plants are they're anti everything, basically. They're goitrogens, but goitrogens attack every cell of your body, basically. Plants are poisonous. in small amounts, medium amounts, large amounts, frequent amounts, and infrequent amounts, in my opinion. Sometimes add more fat, cook them well, ferment them, all those things. But in general, yes, your hormones are messed up because of a plant protein, low fat diet. That's it. But by the way, all plants, all animals have cells, and they all contain proteins, sugars, and fats. But the one thing plants have that most meat doesn't have are poisons. The animal will fight you if you try to kill it, but a plant, it's already got the poisons that'll damage you. That's our problem. Simple.
There you go. Dr. Nelson, can you decipher this one? There's a few letters here I'm not tracking with. Will be 2-year carnivore next month, 66M. What does that mean? Started 85 kilos, dropped
66.
76.
He's 66. He's a male.
Oh! Okay, 66-year-old male, started at 85 kilos, dropped to 76 last July, now 94. Any ideas? Docs, I love being
There are too
around
many
76.
questions needed to have a complete picture of what he's eating and doing and all these things. So, but in general, at the end of the day, even though we don't like to talk about the word calories, but the total amount of food, the energy that you take and spend, do play a part. It's not the only thing. It's not calories in, calories out, but lowering maybe the total amount of energy you're eating. If you have excess amount of fat, is you can try decreasing the amount of fat, but I'd rather decrease in proportion. Still moderate protein, high fat, no carbs, and
no
maybe
plants.
decreasing the amount of food. Yes.
Eat less, move more.
Yeah.
And by the way, your body, your brain wants you to be fat because for the first 3.5 million years, you lived through lots of famines.
Right.
So this idea, but the food abundance and availability is our problem. You had to hunt and gather and prepare your food. They deliver it to you, and basically that's our problem. Ease of access. And you need to be strong and discerning on the mission. So as Cathy said, the mind is the master. Faith is first. I am healthy and well. I eat 1 time a day. That is it. And period. That's the very best thing. Why would you need to eat more? You don't. And fasting, I mean, I did 15. Dr. Nelson did 22, 2 to 3 days a month, 5 to 7 days quarterly. Pick it. One of the best things you can ever do. Move more, eat less. Simple.
Very
I did
simple.
the same thing as that guy, as that man, is that I was eating too much. And I was eating when I wasn't actually hungry. So that eating once a day is fabulous if you can do that. I just, when I'm at work, I just like to have those 3 extra eggs. It just hits the spot. So I'm like, maybe you can call that a meal and a snack.
But think about it. 50,000 years ago, when the food was available, your brain said, eat it all. So your brain today thinks the same thing, because what happens if tomorrow there's no food? It knows better than you do. That's why we're all getting fat, because the universe has been here before. You don't know that.
I don't know. I don't know the future.
And obesity causes no disease. Obesity is not pathologic. It's physiologic. The food you eat is pathologic. Nobody ate a bunch of plants 50,000 years ago. You're not an herbivore.
Yeah. In fact, there's a scripture that kind of goes with that. Romans 14:2. So one person who has a strong faith can eat anything, but another whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. So if you're going to only eat vegetables, that's one thing. I mean, I still put some spices on stuff, so technically it's a vegetable, but
And the plants ferment in your gut, which makes alcohol.
yeah, and we're not fermenters.
We are. Well, we are. We're not meant to be. We're not meant to be, but we are fermenters. If you eat a plant protein, low fat diet and you fill your gullet day you're born to the day you die, you're fermenting. And fermentation
We don't want to do that.
Right. You're deadly for humans. You're right, Cathy. Deadly for humanity. That's our problem.
Yeah.
And what do us doctors tell people to eat? Not us doctors, but in general, the medical profession tells people to eat a Mediterranean diet. Deadly.
Right. Plants, plants, plants. Yeah. We're not meant to be fermenters. You know, we have our pH of our body, it's enzymes. That's what we digest our food with, is the enzymes.
Insulin's job is to make fat in the liver. That is it. Insulin is one of the most important hormones, enzymes, but it's digestive, and its job is to make fat in the liver, period. You don't make fat, you're dead.
That's true. That's the whole problem with, type 1 diabetes.
Type 1.
That's why they need to have insulin.
And type 2 diabetes and hepatogenous diabetes. And so it is, our science is mostly snake oil, in my opinion. We just make it complicated. But as you say, eat the meat, be the master, eat the mush, weak and meek. That's what happens to us all. That's why carnivore is the king of kings. Eating smoked brisket, but rather steak and eggs, issue with smoked meat. You can eat smoked brisket, but I think you overcook most meat, you lose the fat. I mean, what other animal cooks their food? None.
I have to say I love smoked brisket. So I'm not quite there to the raw yet.
It tastes good, but it is not good for us. Because this is where, if you look at Pottinger's cats, cooked meat is damaged meat, and most of the fat is gone. A brisket, again, I see so many people at the carnivore meetups, they cut the fat away. And rendered fat is not the same as raw fat. So again, really crazy concepts and ideas. So listen, Cathy, amazing. I love you. I'll see you guys later today. I might not make it tonight because they say I can be there past 5 o'clock. So if I'm there, great. No. You guys got it.
Love you,
we got it. We got Bella tonight at the Zoom call. So
all right, everyone.
All right, everybody.
Bye, everybody. I will see you. You guys got it.
Yeah, we got it. Then Dr. Nelson, can you answer this question?
Yes.
Why do some women get gestational diabetes? Are they more susceptible to diabetes later in life? Those are 2 questions.
We have stages in our lives that, now we use a term, there's a lot of controversy around the words insulin resistance, but these are times of insulin resistance. Adolescence, particularly when, during puberty, hormonal changes, pregnancy, menopause, okay? So Dr. Kiltz talks about the body wants to be fed. And certainly when you're going to create babies, your bodies want to retain all the weight that it can to survive the pregnancy. But if you're not metabolically fit, basically by the time you're going to get pregnant, you already have insulin resistance by the time of pregnancy. And then on top of that, you add the insulin resistance that comes naturally, then you develop gestational diabetes. That's the simplest explanation.
Okay. There was another question, and either of you are welcome to answer it. It says, what is the equivalent? I got to find the question now. Oh, here it is. Kaleidoscope mind. What's the cow equivalent of bacon?
Cow bacon.
Cow bacon. But I just
Beef
asked cow
bacon.
bacon.
It's all taken from the same part. It's beef bacon.
From the underbelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Pork
go to any
belly,
butcher.
beef belly. They turn into bacon.
Mhm.
Okay, there you go. Let's see. I guess we're done with questions. Does anyone have any other questions before we got like 5 minutes? Oh, we can do do you want me to show this, Dr. Nelson? Okay, there you go.
I wanted to just again the book for those that were listening and want to get it. The full title: The Kingdom Way, a 12-week spiritual weight loss and life energizing program based on biblical principles, health for your spirit. And I'm just showing just one of the places where you can get it, but just search for, because I found other similar titles. So if you put the author, Cathy Dickson, makes it easier. The Kingdom Way. And we can, let's see, we can remove that. And any other questions, please put them in the chat. Cathy, where can we find you?
thekingdomway.com.
Okay.
Spelled the same way. Or The Kingdom Way on YouTube. Or The Kingdom Way, I don't even know, on Instagram. But that goes from my personal Facebook, I think, that one. Around, I don't know. I usually just go on YouTube once a week because I'm busy with teaching and coaching and all kinds of things. And also, The Kingdom Way with InsulinIQ with their coaches on there too. Yeah. And Jonah Flynn. She doesn't have everyone posted there, but if you're requesting me for like one-on-ones or something, then I would get that.
Okay, awesome. Last question for Dr. Nelson. JJ, what does an appendix do? I've had mine removed. Does this affect digestion of the carnivore diet?
I hope not. Mine's out.
The appendix is a vestigial organ, and I guess it doesn't necessarily have any function in our intestine the way it is right now. So that's why a lot of people easily take it out. Obviously, when it gets infected, you have to remove it, but tonsils, for example, are something that sometimes we don't understand much. We take it too easily. Used to be a lot more common when I was a child as well. They probably have a lot more to do with our immune system than we think.
Another note on that one, not just appendix, but gallbladder is a common one people ask about. You can absolutely do carnivore without a gallbladder. I don't have one. Lots of people don't have one. And sometimes they have a bit of digestive problems in the first little bit as they're adjusting. They might take some ox bile or something until they get used to eating that way. And then after a while, your body will adjust. And
wait.
It'll work
But you want this off here?
Yeah, but that's not the picture I wanted to show. Hold on.
Okay.
That was our comic relief, that one.
Yeah, I'm glad that my belly's not hanging out.
There is a point there, but
Okay.
I was trying to get the right thing to show. Okay, here we go.
I need to get up the giveaway. We'll just do that real quick. All right, everybody, here we go. Somebody's winning a Kills My Tribe t-shirt today. Catherine Seeloff, congratulations. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Please email me, alia@drkilts.com, with your address, phone number, and shirt size, and we will get that shipped to you right away.
Hopefully,
Congrats, Catherine.
Catherine.
Yeah, it's a good name.
All right, let's try this. So normally we talk about obesity and obesity doesn't cause any disease. I agree with Dr. Kiltz on that, absolutely. But because of the way we eat now, obviously excess amount of weight in our bodies probably is not a good thing. And so I wanted to show what it is thought to be, and this is not an evolution versus creation discussion, and I actually believe in creation, but anyways, this is the sort of evidence that we have. So this is the progression we had. Did that change pictures?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Okay. So, but it wasn't this.
We showed that one first. Oh, but it didn't have words on the bottom of it.
And it wasn't this.
We didn't show that one. Wait, there's a big fat guy on this side and this side, and one's carrying it out like a big fruit or something. Gosh.
So yeah, I like to talk about excess. Obviously, that's the difference there.
Yeah, the excess. Yeah, exactly.
And notice how it goes. You've got the fire in there. So they didn't start with having a fire. It was raw. And I agree with that. Okay. You haven't destroyed any enzymes in the meat. And then but I'm still not eating raw. And then there was the fire in there. Although I saw Alia do it.
Yeah, and I'm going to try again today with salt. My daughter says she wants to eat some, so I'll do a short about that, I'm sure. Us trying salty, but not pork. I will never eat raw pork.
What did you eat raw?
Oh, I ate a picanha raw. It literally tasted like nothing. And then someone's like, you need to add the salt. So I'll try it again today with salt and see if I have a different opinion.
But salt the picanha.
Okay.
You need to leave it in the fridge 2 or 3 days, though.
Oh, okay. Because I literally just took it out of the fridge and ate it, and it tasted like nothing.
If you put the salt immediately, yes, you're gonna take the salt into the taste.
Oh, okay.
In your mouth. But if you leave it dry marinating on a tray for just a couple of days at least, it just penetrates throughout the whole meat.
All right. Okay. In 3 days, watch it,
that
guys.
I'll give it a different flavor.
Okay, me and my daughter, we're gonna try it in 3 days. The picanha. I will never eat pork or chicken raw. I know some people have some different.
And I'm with Bill Cook.
Cook it. Just cook it. Just cook it.
Just cook it.
There you go. I'm curious what would happen if I ate raw meat for a month.
I think you'd be fine if you wanted to do that. Go for it.
Many people do.
There are many people do that all the time. There's tribes in Africa that do that.
I'm more like
raw meat.
If it would help my health. I know it won't do anything negative. I'm more like, will it help my health at all? I don't know.
Well, you won't know unless you try it.
That's right. You got to do the test. Oh, wow. We're already at 104 minutes. We're at an hour and 4 minutes. Oh, my gosh. That's right. Raw meat has no flavor. That's right. Okay.
Well, all right, everybody. I can leave with one verse.
Okay.
Can I leave with one verse?
Okay.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Now listen. Today I am giving you a choice between life and death, blessing and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth as witnesses, the choices that you make. Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants will live. That's from Deuteronomy 30, verse 19 to 20. So life is in the meat.
Choose
Eat
life.
the meat. Choose life. All right.
All right.
Love you.
This
That's fun
afternoon,
with
Let's
love you.
go.
5:30
5:30.
p.m.
Yeah, and I will
Eastern
send the link
time.
around.
And Bella Ma is going to be with us.
Yeah, Bella Ma is going to be with us.
Buttergown. So see you at 5:30.
Okay, goodbye, guys.